Now the Spirit of the Lord is the one that speaks through me. Before my mother's womb, he ordained and knew me, ransomed me, and placed his words upon my tongue. Few are chosen, rest assured that I am one, an ambassador for Christ, his beloved son. And by his word, let souls be one. So welcome everyone to this listening party. Sit back and let your souls be hearty. Celebrate with me the gift that God has imparted. And what better way to get this party started than to give him the stage, because he knows where your heart is. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Give me the boldness to look upon each face and speak every word that you've given me to say. With no fear, I speak truth. I won't deviate, and I'm confident that all will go great. So let your presence saturate this place. I breathe in your spirit, I intake a river full of life, water in every dry place. As I flow to the notes that heaven navigates, let it bless every listener and free them today. Let the truth of your word draw souls to be saved. Let the comforter comfort hearts today, and let the light of your word show them the way. Every time I write, I tell his story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. He opens up to me and shows me his glory. He gives me the strength to keep on soaring, and when I open up my mouth, for him I'm roaring. And the Spirit of the Lord goes before me, to the captive set free, that's reassuring. Over the years he strengthened my inner core, and every day I wake up just seeking him more. Am I ready for this? In my spirit I'm sure I am in Christ, and my Father I adore. He redeemed me from destruction, I am his ambassador. As the world turns and open up the door, I step in with purpose to win souls for the Lord. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of his word before me.
Hey, welcome to the Tom the Bomb Sports Talk, the fastest growing sports show in the world. It's Monday, December 23rd, 2024, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. Happy holidays, happy holidays, happy holidays to everyone. And we, LOVE, love sports. On the Tom the Bomb Show, I'm your host, Tommy Wood, and we have another fantastic show for you today. Okay. Here on the Tom the Bomb Show, we bring together my two passions, okay? The Word of God and sports. We bring together the excitement of sports and strengthening our faith through the Word of God. So in every episode, we try to fill it with insightful sports commentary, accurate from a Christian perspective, a Christian point of view, reminding you that how we win and lose in life truly matters. Our mission is to spread the Word of God. And that's what we do. That's what we are called to do. Okay. So in every show, we want to reflect our commitment to sharing biblical truths and offering hope and encouragement through scripture. If it's relevant to people, it's going to be relevant on the Tom the Bomb Show. Okay. We try to address significant social issues and problems and provide guidance that is based on Christian principles in order to assist individuals in navigating the challenges that we all have in this life that presents us. Okay. As usual, we want to start off by thanking God for all the wonderful things that He's done in our life, that He's already done for us in 2024, which is fast coming to an end. Our theme for this year, for 2024, has been the year of fixed purpose. And Proverbs 4:25 tells us, set your gaze on the path before you with a fixed purpose, looking straight ahead, ignoring life's distractions. Keeping our eyes on the path and looking straight ahead is what's going to allow us to ignore life's daily distraction, because that's all the enemy trying to do is get us off the word. The Bible tells us that the enemy comes for the word immediately. Okay, it's not Tom the Bomb or it's you, it's the word of God that the enemy comes for immediately. Okay, because he doesn't want that word to take root in your lives so that you can become a true disciple of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, so it's so important that we speak the word and speak the word only. We're going to be talking about that a little bit. Hey, gang, our show is live. The call-in number here is 301 655 9992. Again, that's 301 655 9992. Or you can join us live on Facebook, and you can reach us on YouTube as well at Tom the Bomb Sports, and on Spotify in your car, your smartphone, or your iPad under the same name. You can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. That's info@tomthebombsports.com. Or you can go to our website at www.tomthebombsports.com to contact us and to be able to pick up some Tom the Bomb gear that's coming to you soon in 2025. Hey, gang, we got trivia for you today. Okay, today's trivia question is: Tua Tagovailoa threw his 100th touchdown as a Miami Dolphin quarterback, becoming the fourth Miami Dolphin quarterback to accomplish that feat. Name the three QBs who did it before Tua. Name the three QBs that did it before Tua. Okay, that's our trivia question for today. No poll questions, and hey, gang, what are we watching tonight? What are we watching tonight? Well, we got the Saints versus the Packers at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Our Monday night game. That's what we got. So hey, you know what? Let's jump right into it. We were running a little bit behind, so let's jump right into the first game. Alrighty, let's get to the highlights. So we have the Ravens defeated the Steelers. His second costly turnover came with 13 minutes and 6 seconds remaining, throwing a devastating pick six that ends up getting you guys chicken. Marlon Humphrey, who returned it 37 yards for the final nail in the coffin for the Steelers' hope. It also ended the Steelers' 4-game winning streak over the Ravens. If the Steelers want to claim the AFC North crown, they only have to beat Mother Wig's Chiefs and then MVP candidate Joe Burrow and his Bengals. The Steelers take on the Chiefs on Christmas Day, That's going to be on Netflix, guys, too, just so you know. All the games on Christmas are coming on Netflix, so keep that in mind. Uh, but this is the Russ from Denver instead of the Russ from Seattle. Lamar Jackson had 3 touchdown passes, and he got his first victory over the Steelers since 2019. Can you believe that? All 5 of the Raven losses have been due to self-inflicted wounds and not feeding the king. Okay. On Saturday, the Ravens played cleaner. Okay. And they turned both of Russell Wilson turnovers into 2 touchdowns. Okay. So, that's there it is. That's what we want. Let's move on. In the NFL, you want to be playing your best ball in December. Okay, let's move on to our next game. You want to be playing your best ball in December. And as Gomer Powell, surprise. Surprise, 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 Luann. Mother Wiggs, Kansas City Chiefs played their best game of the season in week. Houston Texans 27-19. Okay, Captain Obvious, Tom the Bomb, you mean to tell me that the Kansas City Chiefs are actually getting better towards the playoffs? Playoffs? No, you got to be kidding me. Mother Wiggs Chiefs capped off an undefeated season at home with the only other goal is basically to secure the #1 seed in the AFC. Uh, the one weakness that's been hampering the champs has been in the secondary, which played its best game against a great young QB in CJ Stroud. Okay. And Hollywood Brown, Marquise Hollywood Brown, he made his presence felt, adding a much needed punch from the Chiefs wide receiving corps because they've had some injuries like a lot of teams and they've been hurting there. Now the Texans suffered another brutal injury to their receiving corps as Tank Dell was lost for the season. Man, it's just so bad. Joining Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins has spent time on the injured reserve list as well with a hamstring injury. Now, the Texans have been unlucky in the injury department, and it's played a big role in their 6 losses on the season. Now, on the bright side, the offensive line is doing a better job of protecting quarterback CJ Stroud. Tank Dell was having one of his best games of the season on Saturday. I mean, he had 6 catches for 98 yards and a TD before the season ended injury. Now it's going to be interesting how the Texans move on forward from here in the playoffs. Clearly, okay, clearly being hamstrung at the wide receiver position. Mother Wiggs, Kansas City Chiefs continue their dominance as they improve to 14-1 on the season. Again, the AFC playoffs will be going through Kansas City. Kansas City, Kansas City, here we come. Got to go through Kansas City. Let's move on. As a matter of fact, let's take a break. Let Tom Bomb get himself together, and then we'll be right back.
When it comes to cost and quality, you simply cannot do better than Window Nation. For about half the cost of national brands, you get if not better quality, saving you thousands of dollars. Right now, get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. There's no limit. Plus, put no money down, make no payments, and pay no interest for 24 months. Get a free in-home estimate and we'll give you a free gas card. Go to windownation.com for additional details or call 866-95-NATION.
Sheltered by the Sea of Cortez, Danzante Bay is a pure and peaceful oasis, an uncrowded retreat where your options are as vast as your views. If you're seeking a vacation that defines luxury and the true relaxation, look no further than Villa del Palmar at the islands of Loreto. A splendor of true Mexican hospitality effortlessly blends with rich materials and insatiable comforts to bring guests the ideal home away from home experience. With its quiet beaches, scenic vistas, rich history, and an astounding surrounding natural habitat, you'll feel as though you've been swept off to paradise. Not to be outdone, Reese Jones has crafted TPC Danzante Bay, a brilliant, multi-themed 18-hole golf course that runs over and through valleys, arroyos, dunes, and foothills. From every angle, striking images of the islands of Loreto and the surrounding mountain range take your breath away, while the challenging yet rewarding Baja Golf Course beckons you to return for more. It is an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the world's most beautiful sunset and so much more.
And we're back. All righty. Hey, how about the game of the day? The Washington Commanders shocked Dwayne Taylor and his Philadelphia Eagles 36-33. Man, what a game. Man, let's see if we can get some highlights on that one. All righty. I guess we don't. I'm all ready. So, like I said, let's get to the game of the day. The Washington Commanders shocked Dwayne Taylor and his Philadelphia Eagles. All right, 36-33. Now, even with 5 turnovers, the Commanders bring in to the Eagles 10-game winning streak. After 11 plays, Jalen Hurts suffered a concussion, and the momentum swung after backup Kenny Pickett took over. Momentum is really something in sports, especially, let's talk about some of the big factors in the game where the momentum really moves. That game really turned on, despite the 5 turnovers, and of course, that was a big part of it. The 5 turnovers, the Commanders improved to 10-5 with the 36-33 win over the Eagles. Let's start off with the NFL's Rookie of the Year, Jayden Daniels. I've been telling you guys all year, this guy is the truth. Daniels put together his 3rd game-winning drive of his impressive rookie season, directing a 9-play, 57-yard drive that ended with a 9-yard TD pass to Jamison Crowder. We didn't even know Jamison Crowder was still alive. Okay, with 6 seconds left for the game winner, the Commanders began the drive trailing by 5 points with 1 minute and 58 seconds remaining. And Jayden ain't broke. Okay, cool, calm, and collected, led them downfield before throwing his 5th TD pass of the game, turning disaster into another thrilling comeback win. Look, man, if what you know that saying, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, Jalen Hurts leaving the game with a concussion in the first quarter is clearly one of the biggest factors in the Commanders' comeback victory over the Eagles. I personally don't think they win if Jayden doesn't get hurt. But here's the thing, and I've been talking about every time your QB takes off running, this is a real possibility of this type of thing happening. As the injury happened when Hurts' head bounced off the ground, and that's usually, I can tell you, for playing quarterback, a lot of times you don't get hurt as much from the hit as you do hitting the ground. Saquon Barkley had over 100 yards rushing in the first quarter alone. Had Jalen Hurts not gotten injured, I believe Barkley easily would have rushed for over 200 yards. I believe that. The combination of Hurts and Barkley is like the Ravens combination of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. What do you think about that, Cannon? You like that comparison? And you can't. Here's the thing: you can't stop them both. After Hurts left, uh, after Hurts left the game, the Commanders' defense made the necessary adjustments, and they held Barkley to basically under 40 yards for the next three quarters. You know, Barkley finished with 29 carries for 150 yards and two TDs. Uh, the third thing I want to hit on is Philly's sloppy play. Multiple penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and key drops passed by Devonta Smith which basically should have iced this game for the Eagles. When you win, and it's like an eraser uh, that wipes away weaknesses that your team has. And after winning 10 in a row, people are talking about the Eagles as if like they were the best team in the NFL. A lot of people believe that. A lot of the so-called experts. But let me tell you, I see the undiscipline of this team that will cost them down the road against better team than the Commanders. Okay. Another point, of course, the 5 turnovers. You can't listen. You can't lose a game when the other team turns the ball over 5 times. Now, I know Jalen got hurt, but with 5 turnovers, the Eagles should have won that game with me quarterbacking. Okay. You could see dissension in the ranks in the midst of the 10-game winning streak with their diva receivers complaining about not getting the ball, even though he's right. Okay, but here's the thing: you can't let that get outside of the locker room. You know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know what happens in the locker room is supposed to stay in the locker room. If you can win without passing the ball, then do it. I think the same type of thing is going on in Baltimore. I'm messing with your Baltimore Ravens, Cannon. I don't think winning is the most important thing. I'll give you a good example. Paul Warfield. A lot of you guys might not know who Paul Warfield is. Hall of Fame Paul Warfield is one of the greatest receivers to ever play in the NFL. He was so graceful, checking off all the boxes that made him a Hall of Famer. Paul Warfield played on the only team in the history of the NFL to have a perfect season, an undefeated season, 17-0, and win the Super Bowl. That year, check this out, that year that they went perfect and won the Super Bowl, Paul Warfield only caught 29 passes all year long. If he was that good, why did he only get 29 receptions for the whole season? I'm glad you asked, because he had 3 guys in the backfield named Larry Zonka, Mercury Morris, and Jim Kick. And Morris and Zonka both rushed for 1,000 yards when it really meant something to rush for 1,000 yards. Keep in mind, they did it in 14 games. I'm not sure, but I think it's the first time that 2 backs on the same team rushed for 1,000 yards. I mentioned something a few weeks ago that the fans totally miss. The teams whose defense play the least usually win because they win the time of possession. And that's what you can't overlook, man. And like I said, when you win, it just covers up a lot of mistakes. That's what's going on. That's what's been going on in the past with Dallas. They go 12-4 and they say, "Oh, we're a good team," but you got a lot of holes. And because you're having a winning season, you think you're better than what you really are. But I've been seeing this in Philly all along. People saying, "Well, we think that we think that they're the best." I don't know about all of that, but we shall see. We shall see. All righty, let's move on to our next game. All righty, let's move on to our next game. Justin Herbert passed for 284 yards and threw 2 TD passes, and Coach Harbaugh pulled a rabbit out of his hat with a free kick right before halftime. This was something, okay? A free kick right before halftime, and rallied past the Denver Broncos 34-27. They were trailing 21-13 at halftime, and the comeback included Like I said, Cameron Dicker, the kicker, you got to be kidding me, right? Dicker, the kicker, come on, man. Making the first successful fair catch kick in the NFL in 48 years. It was good from 57 yards out on the final play of the first half for a nice momentum shift. When we're talking about momentum before the half ended, the Chargers snapped the Broncos' 4-game winning streak. The Broncos still have their destiny in their own hands with an 85% chance to still make the playoffs. Playoffs, yep, still make the playoffs. But hey, the road won't be easy as they close out their schedule against the Bengals, who are looking better and better and better. And then they got to take on Mother Wiggs, Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. It was a disappointing loss for the Broncos after getting off to their best start of the season, scoring 3 touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. And here's the thing: with their stellar defense, and they up 21, it seemed assured, but not so fast, my friend. Harbaugh's Chargers had something to say about that. Okay, it was surprising to see the Broncos defense let that win get away, and they did. They let that one get away, and this loss hurt them. All right, let's move on to our next game. Already, our next game is the Detroit Lions as let me just get here. Yeah, let me get a second. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, the Detroit Lions rebounded from their second loss of the season after being undressed by the Buffalo Bills last week. But just what the doctor ordered. The doctor ordered, hey, play Chicago. Play Chicago. It'll cure your losing streak. Gus said last week, this is an interconference game, so you never know. Man, it's the Bears. Yeah, we know, man. Tom the Bomb told you guys, man. Jared Goff torched the Bears for 336 yards passing with 3 TDs and a near perfect passer rating of 137.0. The Lions are undefeated on the road this year, and Goff has shown that he can play in different types of weather. Detroit's offense is clearly one of the best in the league, okay? Now, the verdict is still out on the Lions' defense, okay? Giving up 48 points to the Bills last week. And, 17 against the Bears, that's not bad. 17 against the Bears, but what I like was the run defense played much better, holding DeAndre Swift, who I think is a really good running back. I think he had like 20 yards, so they did a good job of holding them down. But Caleb Williams threw for 300 yards and 2 TDs. The Lions won 34-17, and if not for a couple of key fumbles by the Bears, this game actually could have been closer. So I don't know. Maybe Gus was onto something. Maybe. Okay, it ain't like he's Troy, right? Okay. Now let's move on to our next game. The Falcons keep their playoff hopes alive after making the big move of moving from Kirk Cousins. And going with the rookie Michael Penix Jr. Now, Penix Jr. played well in his first NFL start, and he got a lot of help from his defense. The defense scored 14 points for him in their 34-7 win over the lowly Giants, man. Man, the Giants are bad, man. After falling behind, the Falcons ran off 34 unanswered points on the G-Men. Right now, the Giants might not make it out of the 12-team college football playoffs. They might not, okay? They struggled in every facet of the game, picking up their 13th loss and is in hot pursuit of Shedeur Sanders, the Shedeur Sanders raffle, okay? All right, let's move to our next game. Our next game, Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers are making a nice run down the stretch as they defeated the Arizona Cardinals 36-30. Gus might be onto something concerning Kyler Murray. Okay, he might be. Okay, Chuba Hubbard carried the load for the Panthers with 25 carries for 152 yards and rushing for 2 TDs. Now, James Conner for the Cardinals responded in kind, like I said, for the Cardinals, with 15 carries for 117 yards and rushing for 1 TD. James Conner, I like James Conner. He plays hard every week. He deserves better than Arizona. Okay, he does. I like to see him get out. The Cardinals, like my 49ers, have officially been eliminated from the playoffs with the loss to the Panthers. Okay, uh, they're not supposed to lose this game. And the Arizona Cardinals was not supposed to lose this game. It's another disappointing season in the desert. All righty, let's move on to our next game. Our next game was the Rams take a firm hold onto the weak NFC West Conference with a 19-9 win over the Jets. After getting Jets fans' hopes up, leading for most of the game, things fell apart as they so often have this year with the Jets. After holding on to the ball for almost 16 minutes, they managed 3 points in that drive. Out of that time-consuming drive, they got 3 points. The Rams stormed back for 13 fourth-quarter points to snatch victory away from Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. The Jets need to dump. They really need to dump these last two games and rebuild their offensive line. Okay, now look, don't waste a pick on a quarterback. Go ahead and stick with Aaron Rodgers, because if you get a new quarterback, he ain't gonna have no protection. So stick with Aaron Rodgers one more year, build up your offensive line, and then go after a quarterback next year. Currently, the Jets sit at the number 8th spot in the draft after losing. Check this out. After losing and winning against the Jaguars last week, because remember I told you guys, the team that won the game actually lost, okay? And that's what the Jets do. They're losers. When they're supposed to lose, they win. And when they need to win, they're not going to win. All right, let's move on to our next game. Our next game was the Cincinnati Bengals, or let me just say, the Bengals keep hope alive. They keep hope alive, beating the Browns 24-6 on Sunday. Joe Burrow is wasting a perfectly good MVP type season. He went 23 for 30 for 252 yards and 3 touchdown passes. Jamar Chase continued his excellent play with 6 catches for 97 yards and 1 TD. The bigger win might have been a Bengals fan making a 40-yard field goal to win the whole stadium free pizza, taking part in the Bengals Slice the Uprights field goal challenge. Now, someone in the NFL should sign him up with all these extra points being missed in the NFL by these kickers this year in the NFL. It's just crazy. This was interesting because a successful kick from the 10-yard line would have won the guy himself free pizza for a whole year, but he opted for the 40-yard field goal for the whole stadium wins. He opted for the kick from 40 yards and nailed it, okay? So somebody is supposed to buy that guy a beer or at least a soda, you know. He got the whole stadium pizza. So that, like I said, that might be the biggest win of the day. Let's move on to our next game. In another tough divisional game, the Colts outlasted the Titans 38-30. If you remember, the Colts lost last week after Jonathan Taylor dropped the ball before crossing the goal line, and he was ripped to shreds by almost everyone. Now, on the Tom the Bomb Show, we talk about all the time one of our core values of how you win and lose in life truly matters. Okay. Now, what I noticed last week was how many people came to Jonathan Taylor's defense. Now, of course, Jonathan Taylor is one of the best running backs in the league, you know, and what impressed me most was how people talked about him being a much better person than a football player. We know he's a great football player, but they talk about him being a much better person. They spoke of his character. They spoke of his integrity and how bad they felt for him, and that no one felt worse than Jonathan Taylor himself. And, you know, it's so easy as sports fans to really forget that they're real people with real feelings, okay? Because they're so well compensated financially, okay, that doesn't mean that they aren't human, okay? And here's the thing: their mistakes at work are seen by millions. Unlike you and I can't tell you all of the mistakes that I've made, okay? So it was no great surprise to me how Jonathan Taylor responded yesterday after last week with 29 carries for 218 yards and rushing for 3 TDs to propel the Colts past the Titans. And anybody who got Jonathan Taylor in fantasy, he might have just got you into the championship round. Now, that didn't just win. The Colts didn't just win. They set a new single-season game franchise record in rushing for 335 yards. So congratulations to Jonathan Taylor and congratulations to the Colts. Tom the Bomb had Colts in that game, by the way. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our next game. Want to get in there? Okay. You want to get it? Okay. In a tough game with playoff implications, both teams allowed the Vikings to escape with the victory. The Seahawks fall to 8-7 and a game behind the Rams, who improved to 9-6 with their win over the Jets. I keep saying that the Vikings are winning with smoke and mirrors. Again, it wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. Sam Darnold found Justin Jefferson for the go-ahead 39-yard TD with just under 4 minutes left in the game. The Vikings defense did just enough to hold off the Seahawks for the victory, sealing the win with an interception by Theo Jackson. Okay, with the win, the Vikings move to 13-2 and remain tied with the Lions atop the NFC North. Now, if you old school, you remember we used to call that the black and blue division, and possibly a number one seed in the NFC playoffs. The Vikings have won 8 in a row and face off against Green Bay on Sunday, who still have something to say. Okay, now this is interesting too. There is a possibility that a team that a 14-win team could end up as a number 5 seed in the playoffs. That's never happened in the history of the NFL for a number 5 seed team to be a team with 14 wins to be a number 5 seed. So it's really kind of interesting. Now, we didn't have a poll question today, but I just kind of want to interject this in there since we're talking about Vikings. Should the Vikings re-sign Sam Darnold? You know, the Vikings spent their first-round draft pick on J.J. McCarthy, and J.J. McCarthy was supposed to be the starting quarterback, and Sam Darnold was supposed to be his backup, okay? So Sam Darnold is lighting it up, okay? So my question to you guys, and we didn't do an official poll question, but what do you guys think out there? Should the Vikings re-sign Sam Darnold, even though, and let me just tell my thoughts on this. Absolutely re-sign Sam Darnold. I'm going to tell you why. Because we talk about this on the Tom the Bomb show all the time. The systems make quarterbacks almost as much as the quarterback make the system, okay? And with the coach that the Vikings have, Sam Darnold clearly fits into this system, okay? Because he fits into that system, I would ride Sam Darnold till the wheels fall off. And J.J. McCarthy's a rookie, and Tom the Bomb always says, let these rookies come in and learn the system and learn how to be professionals. The pie. C.J. Stroud is pie in the sky. Jayden Daniels is pie in the sky. Ben Roethlisberger is pie in the sky. These guys don't come out of college in the first year and have the success that those guys. Man, I can take you around the line. Hall of Famer Troy Aikman was terrible in his first season. Hall of Famer Peyton Manning was terrible in his first season. These guys aren't really ready to play right out of college. They need to learn to be professionals. But, everybody's thinking, I'm going to get the next Jayden Daniels. Excuse me, there ain't no next Jayden Daniels. There ain't no next C.J. Stroud. Okay, it's just not. So I think they absolutely should resign him because he fits into this system and let J.J. McCarthy sit there and learn. That's Tom the Bomb take. What do you guys think? Go ahead and comment on me on Facebook and send it in an email. Let us know what you guys think, okay? All righty, let's move on to our next game. All righty. Now, here we go. Sounding like a broken record in a tough loss and a tough loss to the Buffalo Bills, 21-24. Now, when the weather changes in December, you have to be able to lean on your running game. And James Cook answered the call, bailing out MVP Josh Allen and a struggling Bills defense, as Cook put the team on his back and helped the Bills dodge a major bullet. It was the perfect trap game after coming off an impressive win over everyone's darling Detroit Lions, okay? The Pats acted like Rocky, okay, and Rocky won, and they took Apollo Creed to the max, okay? Now, like the Chiefs, the Bills are getting everybody's best shot now. And Cook really, really, really stepped up and shouldered the burden of on a day when, MVP Josh Allen was not close to the level that we've come accustomed to him, the performances he has shown in this MVP campaign. Now, Drake May is steadily improving, and he looks like he's the real deal also. This might be a really, really special QB class with Jaden Daniels. Bo Nix is pressing Jaden Daniels for Rookie of the Year. Caleb Williams. Drake May is the real deal. We haven't even seen J.J. McCarthy. They're talking about moving from Sam Darnold because they want J.J. McCarthy to play. And then you got Michael Penix Jr., who just stepped in with the Falcons. So this quarterback class currently is looking like it really, really could be one of those special quarterback drafts of all time. Let's move on to our next game. Our next game was our next game was what I'm calling the battle for the number one draft pick is what this game was. And the winner is actually the loser. And today, the losers was James, Las Vegas Raiders. Sorry, James. By beating the Jaguars 19-14, the Raider fans are furious with the win over the Jags. One Raider fan said, "We just blew the number one draft pick." And even worse, they dropped from number one all the way down to number 6 in the draft spot. With the talent pool, what it is, you got to stay in the top 2 spots for Shedeur Sanders or Heisman winner Travis Hunter. You want one of those 2 guys, okay? Right now, the Giants are at number 1. Okay, the Patriots right now falling in at number 2. The Jaguars fall into the number 3 spot with the Tennessee Titans number 4, followed by the Cleveland Browns at number 5. So, that's the battle of the losers is basically what that is right there. All right, let's move on to our next game. Our next game was the Dolphins defeated my San Francisco 49ers 29-17 in a must-win for the Dolphins. And nothing but pride for the 49ers. Finding out that the Niners had been eliminated right before the kickoff was a real downer, and the team played like it. The 49ers blew multiple opportunities, and they committed a single season high of 11 penalties in the loss to the Miami Dolphins. This season is just a wash. It happens. You can't win all the time. The 49ers were in the Super Bowl last year. They've had a lot of injuries. The Niners have the Lions next, and they finished with the Arizona Cardinals. Well, we'll see if the coach can get them motivated and coach them up at this point. As a fan, I say play for the draft spot now. You ain't got nothing to win. Play for the draft spot. All righty. Let's move on to our next game. Give me 1 second here. Let's move on to our next game. Okay, go ahead. Our next game was and listen, now I'm going to say this carefully. Our next game was the Dallas, with all respect, played a spirited game and beat a really, really good football team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-24. After learning that they had been eliminated from the playoff contention, they could have easily folded up their tents and laid down like my 49ers did. Okay. But listen, I have to take my hat off and salute the Dallas Cowboys. With nothing to play for other than pride, they showed tremendous heart and character. I was listening earlier First Take, Stephen A. and Shannon, they was slamming them, talking about they didn't have nothing to play for. They didn't have no skin in the game. They had no expectations. So that's why they came out and played like that, because there was no expectation on it. I have to disagree with them. Like I said, they showed tremendous heart and character and outfought a good team playing for their playoff life. And that's what I was impressed. Like I said, they fought to the last play of the game, literally wrestling the ball away from the Bucks on their potential last drive to win the game. You would have thought this was a Steelers and a Ravens game with the hard hitting that was going on. Listen, nobody in the NFL plays as hard as the Steelers and the Ravens. By the way, they took place. I can't remember the Cowboys having a more impressive win. They showed me a lot. It was a tough loss for the Bucks. They needed this win, and that's why I'm impressed with the Cowboys, because the Bucks needed it, and they squandered it away with too many opportunities to win this game. So, hey, man, come on, guys. You guys know that there ain't going to be too many times where Tom the Bomb is going to be singing the praises of the Dallas Cowboys. And listen, I'm actually calling them the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not calling them out their name. So, like I said, I was really impressed with them because the Bucks needed this game, man. And I told you how good of and Tampa Bay is still a good team. Now they're in the point where they don't have their own destiny in their hand, because the Falcons have beat them twice. So any kind of tiebreakers is going to go to the Falcons. The only thing the Bucks really got going for them is the Falcons still have to play Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. And, I think they've proved that at the very least that they are a playoff team. Okay, let's get to what we got. Let's see. Let's get to tonight, the ESPN game. We got the Saints take on the Packers. So let's get to our picks on that. I'm definitely taking the Packers in that one. And let's go ahead and get to our picks for Week 17. Okay, so listen, like I mentioned to you guys, all of the games on Christmas Day are going to be on Netflix, okay? So on Wednesday, Christmas Day, we got Mother Wiggs Chiefs versus the Steelers. That's going to be a really, really good football game. Let's slow down a minute. Man, that's the tough game, because I'm going to go with Mother Wiggs Chiefs. And the reason I'm going to tell you why is because if the Chiefs win this game, then they lock up the number one seed in the AFC, and then they can rest Patrick Mahomes and everybody for 2 weeks straight. So I think they're going to go ahead and lock in and play this game hard, but the Steelers need this game. And man, I love the Steelers defense, man. Man, I ain't never in my life been a Steeler fan, never ever going to be a Steelers fan, but I'm a huge Mike Tomlin fan. And man, he's done a phenomenal job with his team. And this is going to be a really, really good game on Christmas Day. But it's just hard to go against number 15, man. It's just really hard, man. I lived through the Michael Jordan era. That's why I know LeBron James ain't the GOAT, okay? Well, number 15, he's basically MJ in a football uniform. So I'm going to take the Chiefs, but this is going to be a really, really good game. Our next game is going to be the Ravens versus Cannons. Cannons Ravens versus the Texans. I'm going to take the Ravens in this one. You guys know that I have a man crush on the Texans, but they just got too many injuries at the wide receiver position. I think this is going to really hurt the Texans as they move into the playoffs. Their offensive line has gotten better, which is really thing that's really hampered them this year. But with the loss of Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, anybody with any sense is going to double and triple cover Nico Collins, and that's where you're going to beat the Texans. So I'm going to go with the Ravens in this one over the Texans. Then we got the Seahawks versus the Bears. That's the Thursday night game. Come on, guys. Come on. You take the Seahawks. Nobody's picking the Bears but Gus. It's not going to be a tough game. Take the Seahawks. The next game is the Chargers versus the Pats. That's Saturday at 1 p.m. Like I said, the Patriots continue to play hard, but take the Chargers in this one. The Chargers are a playoff game team. Now, this next one might be the best game of the week. The Denver Broncos versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Both of these, the Bengals are in a position where they got to win. And the Broncos got to win one of their last two. They got the Bengals, and after that, they got Mother Wiggs, Kansas City Chiefs. So the Broncos got to win one of those games, to get into the playoffs. The Bengals got to win out and hope these other teams lose. You know what? I like the Bengals in this game. Their defense can't stop anybody, but like I said, Joe Burrow's having an MVP type season. And what makes the Bengals really tough for even really good teams is, you got Jamar Chase, who might be the best wide receiver in the NFL, but on the other side, you got T. Higgins, and T. Higgins ain't no slouch. If you try to double up on Jamar Chase, T. Higgins will kill you. And Joe Burrow's, like I said, is having an MVP season. I like the Bengals in this one, so it'll be interesting. I think it could be the best game of the day, maybe right behind that Kansas City Chiefs Steeler game, because the Steelers are going to bring it. Mother Wig, your team better be careful. All right. Our next game is going to be the Arizona Cardinals versus the Rams. Take the Rams. The Cardinals have folded the tent. I told you guys that the Rams was the best team in this division. Take the Rams. Our next game is the Carolina Panthers, who are playing hard, but they're against the Bucks, and the Bucks are absolutely desperate after losing to the Cowboys last night. So take the Bucks in this one. Then you got the Jets versus the Bills. The Bills won't make a mistake and fall into a trap game. Besides, the Jets are tanking. And, the Jets are the type of organization where, they dig a hole for their enemies and then they forget where the hole is and then they fall into their own hole. So don't worry about the Jets. Don't worry about the Jets. Take the Bills in this one, okay? Then we got the Indianapolis Colts versus the G-Men. What I just said about the Jets, ditto for the Giants. They're both in New York, in New York, New Jersey, whatever. It's just the same thing. The Jets fell in that hole, and then the Giants came right behind them and fell in the same hole. So take the Colts in this one. Then we got the Packers versus the Vikings. Woo! I forgot, man. This was going to be a good one too, man. Get your popcorn ready for this. The Vikings are going for the number 1 seed, and Packers are a good football team, man. Tom Baum's taking the Packers in this one, man. The Vikings are 14-2. 13-2, 14-2, and I can't put my finger on it. Let me tell you what I like about the Vikings. I like their head coach and I like their defensive coordinator. The Vikings are where they are because of coaching. And I keep telling you guys, in the NFL, coaching really, really matters. And the Vikings are 14-2 because of coaching. They've done a phenomenal job. But it's just something about the Vikings that just won't let me say this is the best team in the NFC. I ain't got nothing against Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is having his greatest season ever. Sam Darnold is a top quarterback. He should be getting some consideration for MVP. He's not going to, but he should be getting some consideration. So, the Vikings are doing everything right. They're just winning, kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs. They're just winning. But I just don't believe that the Vikings are a better team than the Packers. I don't. Tom Baum's taking the Packers in this one. All right, next we got James, Las Vegas Raider, and they're playing against the Saints. And oh my goodness, man, this is like two people in a fight with big fluffy pillows on both of their hands. No matter how hard they swing, they ain't gonna hurt nobody because they got pillows on, man. Listen, let me tell you who's gonna win this game: the Raiders and the Saints. I'm getting ready to tell you. Okay, you ready? This is going to be really technical, so you're going to have to follow me here, okay? Here's who's going to win this game, the Raiders and Saints. And this is how technical I'm going to come up with the win. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Look, man, just close your eyes and throw the dart. Flip a coin, man. The Raiders should lose. Tom Baum's going to take the Saints, okay? I do believe the Saints are better than the Raiders, but the Raiders got that New York thing going on where they keep messing things up, okay? But I'm going to take the Saints in this one. Our next game is the Tennessee Titans versus the Jaguars. Tom Baum is going to take the Titans in this one over the Jags, okay? And then our next game is the Miami Dolphins versus the Browns. The Dolphins have a very, very slim hope of making the playoffs. The Browns got nothing to play for. They're in that number 5 slot. They want to move up to take the Dolphins in this one. And then we got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's take a minute right here and let's stop right here just for a second to talk about this game. Okay, we don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to pass the concussion protocol, and whether he comes back or not. The Eagles were so much more of a better team than the Cowboys. But listen, the Cowboys got nothing to play for. I agree that they have no expectation. And when you put them in that position, that's actually when the Cowboys actually become dangerous. I'm going to shock you guys right here. Tom the Bomb is taking the Cowboys over the Eagles. The Eagles lose 2 in a row to the Commanders, and then the following week they lose for the Cowboys. Now I know all you Commander fans out there would love to see this happen because then that moves the Commanders in the spot to actually maybe win the NFC East. But that's really not my thinking here. My thinking is, I say this a lot. Bad teams win games when they ain't supposed to, and then they lose the games that they're supposed to win. And I'm counting the Cowboys in this. This is a game that the Cowboys are supposed to lose. And because of that, because they are a bad team, I think the Cowboys are going to win this game over the Eagles. And Tom the Bomb's taking the Cowboys over the Eagles. That's my pick for the week. All righty. We'll see. Then we got the Falcons versus the Commanders. This is the Sunday night game, and this is a big game. You know, the Falcons with the Cowboys beating the Buccaneers last night. This puts the Falcons back in the driver's seat, and they're now the lead in their division. I think Jaden Daniels and the Commanders knock them out on this one. This will get the Commanders to 11 wins, and the Commanders haven't seen 11 wins since at least the Reagan administration, maybe even the Nixon administration. But this gets them to 11 wins. And listen, number 5 is all that in a bag of chips, man. When they start calling you by one name or one number, you have arrived, okay? And just like in Kansas City, they believe in 15. In the DMV, they believe in 5. And Lori, correct me or not, 5 is the number of
Grace.
5. Did you guys hear that? 5 is the number of, did you guys know that 5 is the number of grace? And I was listening to an interview with Scary Terry McLaurin, and he was talking about how Jaden Daniels came in and taken over the team. And they said, well, he's a rookie. He said, well, first of all, he's a man of God, and we have that in common. And I was like, whoa, check that out. 5. They believe in 5. They believe in the number of grace. Take the Commanders over the Falcons, all right? And then the Monday night game is the Detroit Lions against my sad 49ers. Now, let me tell you something. When the NFL, this is funny, when the NFL was looking at this schedule, they was going like, the NFC Championship game last year was the Detroit Lions against the San Francisco 49ers. How about we make this one of the last Monday night games of the year, and it's going to be a great game, and we'll get them on Monday night, and then they'll probably run back into each other in the NFC playoff game again. Not. The Lions are there, but not the Niners. So this just went from being like possibly one of the best Monday night games all year long to like, who cares, okay? Take the Lions in this one, man. I can't remember a year where I picked against my 49ers so many times, but hey, it is what it is. We'll be back. We'll be back. So take the Lions over the 49ers. All righty. Hey, let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk a little golf. Let's talk a little golf in here. Listen, man, the PNC Championship ended with a thrilling playoff between Bud Hart and Jason Longer versus Tiger and Charlie Woods. After each team posted a record low 36-hole total of 116, both teams fired 59 in the first round, 57 in the second round to force a playoff. At the first playoff hole on the 18th hole, Bernhard watched Charlie and Tiger and Jason all miss their eagle putts before he calmly drained his own eagle putt to claim victory and win a record 6th PNC Championship title, while his son Jason has claimed his 4th title. Well, how does he have 6 and Jason have 4? He got another son. He won 2 titles with another son. So despite Charlie Woods' first ever hole-in-one, it wasn't enough to beat the team Longer. This was a really, really exciting and great golf. It was good because, in sport, especially in, golf is supposed to be a gentleman game. And in any kind of sport, it's like, ultimate is, I want you to play your best, and then I'm going to play my best, and then the best man wins. And nobody made any mistakes. Team Lager just outlasted him. And I thought this was interesting because, we know how great a golfer that Tiger Woods and how technical he is. But if there's any other golfer that might be more technically sound than Tiger Woods, it's Bernhard Langer. And, with his son they was playing alternate shot like captain's choice. With his son getting that ball out there, in the fairway deep, all he had to do was lean on his iron game, his short game, and his putting. And man, that's right up his alley, and it's amazing because at age 67, at age 67, Bernard Langer still might be better than them, in that area of the game from 100 yards in to his chipping and putting. And man, like I said, Charlie missed his eagle putt. Tiger missed his eagle putt. His son Jason missed his ankle putt, and then Bernard drained it for the win. So it was really, really exciting. If you guys get a chance to go back and see it, it's been a while since I was excited about a golf match, but this one was really, really good. And people keep forgetting that Charlie is just 15. He's just 15. But look who his coach is. Look who his coach is. But I just told you that Bernhard Langer has 6 PNC championships. He's won 4 with Jason, and then he won 2 with his other son. So, them Langer boys, look who they coach is. Okay. So it was really, really a great, great match. And congratulations to the Langers. Some people was trying to throw salt on it, talking about that Langer didn't tee off from where Tiger did. And the Tiger's 49. Bernard Langer 67. He's supposed to get some yardage on Tiger, So I don't buy that, man, because it's you drive for show, you putt for dough, and Bernhard made the putt and won all the dough. Case closed. Congratulations to the team Langer. Hey gang, let's wrap up with before we get to tomorrow, I do want to talk just a little bit of baseball. I want to talk a little bit of baseball. I want to talk about the Yankees. The Yankees lost out to Juan Soto, signed $765 million contract to move to the Mets. You guys have all heard the saying, a blessing in disguise. This is an absolute blessing in disguise. I think because they didn't sign Juan Soto, I think the Yankees could win the World Series next year. They have made some shrewd moves. You guys know how dangerous the Dodgers is. When they signed Blake Snell, that's just not fair. That's not fair, man. The Dodgers signing Blake Snell. But because they didn't spend all that money on Juan Soto, they went out and signed Goldschmidt from the Cardinals. I think they're going to get Arenado, the third baseman from the Cardinals. They just signed the guy in right field from the Cubs. Gosh, I'm slipping his name. But this is going to revive his career because now he's going to have that short porch in right field, which is why I thought Juan Soto should have stayed with the Yankees, because I think it's a difference for him hitting 40+ home runs every year versus 30+. I'm sorry, forgive me that I can't remember the outfielder that they were replacing Juan Soto with, coming from the Cubs. Felix knows, he knows it. But I love the moves that they made. Instead of spending almost $800 million on Juan Soto, they brought in a first baseman, they brought in a third baseman, they brought in more pitching, and they brought in a right fielder that's going to hit 40 home runs in right field. I love what the Yankees are doing, and this not signing Juan Soto is going to be an absolute blessing in disguise. And I look for the Bronx Bombers because, for the Yankees, it's World Series or bust every year for the Yankees. If they ain't in the World Series and don't win the World Series, nothing else matters. I think this puts the Yankees back in the World Series. So great move, man. They've done some really, congratulations to GM Cashman, President Cashman, whatever he is. He's done a phenomenal job not signing Juan Soto. Going to end up being a blessing in disguise. And let's close out with, let's talk to you about the memorial for Rickey Henderson. Baseball Hall of Famer and Major League stolen base king, dies at the age of 65. In Henderson's 25 years in the major leagues, he played for 9 different teams, and he won 2 World Series and an American League MVP in 1990. He's regarded as the best leadoff hitter in the history of Major League Baseball. Let's stop right there. When you start talking about leadoff hitters, you got Ty Cobb, Lou Brock, and almost to a consensus, Rickey Henderson is the best leadoff hitter in the history of baseball, and Ty Cobb and Lou Brock were leadoff hitters. So, and I agree. Rickey Henderson, the greatest leadoff hitter in the history of Major League Baseball. He was a 10-time All-Star. He led the American League in stolen bases a record 12 times, and he stole 100 bases or more in a single season 3 different times. The only other player to do that was St. Louis Cardinal Vince Coleman, as the only 2 players to ever do that. Rickey Henderson broke Lou Brock's Major League stolen base record in May of 1991 with his 939th stolen base. Rickey Henderson finished with 1,406 career stolen bases. Henderson was known as the Man of Steel because he was a Superman. Rickey Henderson hit 297 home runs, and he had a major league record 81 home runs leading off the game. That means the game starts, the first game he hits, he did that 81 times. That's a major league record. He drove in 1,115 RBIs and had a career batting average of 279, and he played in 3,081 games. He also set a major league record for 2,295 runs scored and 2,129 unintentional walks. Rickey Henderson was born on Christmas Day in 1958, and the story is that he was delivered. He was born in Chicago in the winter, well, Christmas Day, so you know it's wintertime, and they were rushing him to the hospital, and Rickey came in the cab. He didn't even make it to the hospital. He was delivered in the cab, and Rickey would say, "I've been fast since the day I was born." He said, "I was fast. I came out." So Rickey was a multi-talented athlete in baseball, basketball, track and field, and football. Rickey Henderson turned down multiple major scholarship offers to play college football. Okay, but just basically ended up signing with the Oakland A's in 1976 after being drafted in the 4th round. He was voted into the Hall of Fame in 2009. Rickey Henderson was simply the best, or as he would say, the greatest of all time, as Muhammad Ali was his hero. So he used to always say, "I am the greatest of all time." Like a lot of women, I personally got to see Rickey Henderson play quite a bit, and he was simply the best. He did it all. He was a 5'2" player. There was nothing that he didn't do. He looked like an NFL football player playing baseball. It's like, what is that? And in football, he was a running back. So I can just imagine that he was a really, really good football player. You know, he had those big hips and thighs and calves and powerful in the speed. Man, he was a phenomenal baseball player. The baseball world has lost a great one in Rickey Henderson. We want to send out our prayers to the Henderson family. Hey, gang, that's our show for today. Let's cover our trivia question. We don't have a poll question, but let's cover our trivia question. Okay, the answer to let's see if we can check the lines and see. Cannon, you get anything on the trivia question? The trivia question was Tua threw his 100th touchdown for the Miami Dolphins organization. He's the 4th quarterback to throw 100 touchdowns. The last question was, who was the other 3 quarterbacks before Tua to throw 100 touchdowns or more? You got anything, Cannon? Lori, okay, Lori, tell me who.
One of them had to be Dan Marino.
One of them had to be Dan Marino. Lori says Dan Marino. Ding, ding, that's one. Cannon, you got a guess in there?
Troy Aikman.
Troy Aikman played for the Cowboys, Cannon.
I'm sorry.
Look, you guys do know that Cannon is a behind the scenes guy. Yeah, right. we ain't never gonna have Cannon on here talking sports, okay? We just but he is gonna be coming on to talk about some other things though. Don't get it twisted now. That's my dude, okay? Dan Marino is one. You got another? You want to take another shot at it?
I can't remember other Miami.
Well, let's go in order of age. Okay, number 1 would be Bob Greasy. Oh, yeah. Number 2, like Lori said, Dan Marino. And number 3, people don't even think about it, is Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is number 3, and Tua becomes the 4th quarterback to throw 100 touchdowns for the Miami Dolphins. That's our trivia for the day, gang. Hey, gang, don't forget to, excuse me, I'm sorry. Don't forget to check out our website at www.tomthebombsports.com And you can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. So on our not unofficial poll question, but with the Sam Darnold thing, send us a message. Tell us what you think by email, info@tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang. Hey, for a dynamic, in-depth sports analysis and highlights for sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Den Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on WBGR with my main man, Felix Bassey. Hey, man. Time flies when you're having fun, and yeah, we had fun today. We're out of time here, but we sure do thank you for spending your time with us. We don't take that for granted, okay? We really, really do appreciate that, okay? May the gates of heaven open and pour an abundance of blessings down on you where there won't be room enough to contain it. Remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the third day, not a Thursday, just for you. Remember, yeah, like I said, you got to want it, okay? Remember,
Curtains cannot drive out. Only light can drive out.
There you go. Lori here, get me straight, okay? All righty. Remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Hey, listen, gang, before we just totally fish it out, hey, tonight we have a special, we're actually at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. We're actually going to have a Christmas concert. Dr. Lauren and I are going to do our virtual Christmas card live on Facebook, and we're going to have a Christmas concert coming up at 7:45 p.m. this evening Eastern. So you guys can tune in to the same, people you're watching, the same Facebook Live, and we're going to be on and we're going to do some Christmas songs. And it's not
You're
just
going to do the Christmas songs.
Wait a minute, wait. You mean you're not going to sing? Wait,
No.
you guys don't want to hear Tom the Bomb sing. Let's get Lori on the sing. But
No.
yes, we're going to do some Christmas songs. We're going to have fun. It's not just going to be Christmas songs. It's going to be, it's the type of thing where if you get your significant other and snug up, and this is going to be good. So check us out this evening at 7:45. That's coming up in a few minutes. So we'll see you guys shortly. We're going to sign off. God bless you. We see you on the same bat time on the same bat station. Good evening. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
What?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
This is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine, daughter of mine. This is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
Well, I'm coming out with a word in my mouth, filled with excitement to say what it's all about. For a long time, I've held this water in, let the floodgates open, let the miracles begin. I've prayed, and I've gone back 7 times, look again, cause the miracles of mine stir the water. I'm about to step in like the pool of Bethesda, let the healing begin.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
It took a minute to get my composure right. For years it seems like I've been fighting for my life. Confusing times when my days resemble nights. But now this eagle is about to take flight and soar out of darkness to its revelation light. Though the waves are rough, I step out my comfort zone to walk on water, cause I know I'm not alone. God's got my back and reminds me I'm his own. His words are sweet in my mouth, they taste like a honeycomb. And faith has opened up my eyes. I've been through the fire, tested and tried. As I study God's word, I finally realize that my purpose I have to visualize, to bring the unseen from the realm of under night until I walk into the fullness of a purpose-filled life. Cause I'm light. Yes, I am light, and I shine bright. I am an investment of the Lord Jesus Christ. Not only am I light, I am salt. When I enter in, I add flavor to it all. I bring truth, there's no dispute. Jesus is the vine, and in him I take root. I am the head, and not the tail. I'm an overcomer made free to prevail. A new design, a special kind. Ambassador followed by wonders and signs. I am light, and I give sight, leading lost souls to his glorious light. I am light.